You know that moment when you open a message, read it completely, maybe even start forming a reply in your head, and then you just leave it there? Not because you don't care, but because something in you hesitates, pauses, as if the response needs more time than you have right now. From the outside, it gets misunderstood so easily. It looks like indifference, like you're ignoring someone, maybe even being careless with the connection. But that interpretation misses something important. Because this isn't really about the message, it's about what happens inside you after you read it. There's a certain kind of person who reads messages but doesn't reply right away, and it's rarely explained in a way that reflects what they're actually experiencing. There's more going on here than people realize. When you read a message, your brain doesn't just process words, it starts simulating the interaction, tone, intention, possible outcomes. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles decision-making and self-awareness, becomes active, trying to shape the right response. At the same time, the emotional centers of the brain quietly assess risk, not danger in the usual sense, but social risk, being misunderstood, saying too much, saying too little. So your system slows down. What looks like a simple reply becomes something that needs to feel accurate. And if that clarity isn't there yet, the brain delays. For many people, this pattern isn't random, it's learned. If you've had experiences where words carried weight, where the wrong tone led to tension, distance, or conflict, your nervous system adapts. It becomes careful, measured. Communication stops being automatic. It becomes something you manage. So over time, your mind builds a habit of pausing, waiting until it feels right to respond. But right can be hard to reach when you're thinking deeply, and that's where the delay comes from. This isn't better or worse than someone who replies instantly, it's just a different way of processing. Some people move quickly through interaction, others move carefully through it. Neither is wrong. But there's a quiet paradox in this. The more thoughtful you are, the harder it can be to respond. Because you're not just replying, you're trying to align your words with how you actually feel. And that takes time, sometimes more time than the moment allows. So the message waits, not because it doesn't matter, but because it matters enough to get right. If this feels familiar, there's nothing broken about it. It means your mind is tuned to nuance, to meaning, to the impact of what you say. And while that can create pauses, it also creates depth, the kind that isn't always visible on the surface, but is felt when it's there. And once you start seeing it this way, the silence between reading and replying doesn't feel as confusing. It starts to make sense. And there are other patterns like this too, small, almost invisible behaviors that carry more meaning than they seem, the kind you don't notice until someone puts it into words.